Well, good morning or good afternoon. It's noon, so we're going to get started here. I did not plan ahead very well because I wasn't even thinking about a holiday weekend when I invited our guests to come speak this weekend. I should have probably planned this last weekend or next weekend to be able to reach more people, but you're going to have fun today because I know I have heard Gail speak, and she is a spitfire, and it will be fun. As you know from the handouts that you got, most of her background on how she grew up with motorcycles from a very early age, so I'm not going to ponder on that. I will say that it is fun to be able to put this series together and look for speakers from a variety of backgrounds and bring people in that can offer you insight from all the different fields out there, but still bringing it back home to the leadership skills that make them leaders, either skills that they talk about or that you listen and pull from whatever they're explaining or from just watching them work. I think that we look to the stories of our guests in this particular series to see what inspires them, motivates them, who their mentors are, what the problems they've had that they've had to overcome to get where they are today, and then kind of try to connect and relate to that. I would like to have you help me welcome Gail Worth from Gail's Harley-Davidson.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. How is everybody this morning? Okay. Didn't sound very powerful. A couple of you were there, but not everybody. Wouldn't it be different? Wouldn't it feel different in here if everybody said that they were outstanding when I asked how you were? Wouldn't it be even better if everybody felt outstanding and then said, we're outstanding when I asked? Wouldn't it feel different in here? Okay. What I would like to do today is show you how you can use your own electricity to make yourself feel outstanding. Okay? And use your electricity and the electricity of those around you. All right? So what I would like to do is to have a little experiment here to show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. All right? So, I know you're eating, but just for a moment, I would like for everybody to stand up. Okay. Now, think about how fabulous it is to work here or to be a part of KU. It really is an amazing organization. All right. While you're thinking about that, think about how great it is to work with so many wonderful people. And what I would like for you to do is high five somebody beside you. With power. Okay, now what I would like for you to do is with even more power and more energy, high five somebody else around you. Okay, woo, you're feeling it. Okay, remembering what I said about how this place would feel if everybody felt outstanding, how are you feeling this morning? Great. That's funny. Okay. I love it. Okay, well, at least you felt great. That's fabulous. Okay, everyone sit down, please. But I think you can feel what I'm talking about with the electricity in here. It's what I find interesting, and it happens all the time. It is just the way of the world, the way of the universe. Is there are people that can walk into the room and they have got electricity beaming off their fingertips. You can just feel it. You feel it when they walk in the room, and people in the room sort of gravitate to them because that's what electrical people attract. They attract other people because everybody wants to feel that power, feel their electricity. And when they share it, then it makes them more electrical, if that makes any sense. Okay? Then there are people who walk into the room and you would have sworn that they forgot to pay the electric bill. You know? And it's like, oh my goodness, really? Just smile. You know? And it's all a choice. It's all a choice in yourself. You can make yourself that electrical person that everybody wants to be around. Just now, we felt the energy in this room come up. And that was from every single person in here. It wasn't from the energy from one person. It was from everybody working together, coming together with their high fives and sharing electricity. And suddenly, people felt outstanding or great. Okay? It really helps. Often, people think, well, you know, Gail, of course you're going to say that it's easy to be outstanding, or if you think it, you'll be it, because life's laid out for you. But, you know, that's not the way it is. Back up a bit. Life is laid out for me. But it is laid out for me because I laid it out. No, that's right. Nobody laid it out for me. Yes, I come from a great family, but nobody laid this future of mine in front of me. I had to go out and I had to get it myself. And I had to feel the power that's inside of me to get this done. This year is my 10-year anniversary of Gail's Harley-Davidson. And it's been a very challenging 10 years, but it has been absolutely fabulous. I have met some amazing people, and I have learned some incredible lessons. I first bought first of all, let me go back just a little bit further. I worked for my dad. My dad owned a Harley-Davidson dealership. I worked for him. And I started when I was 16. I became, I was a secretary. Actually, I wasn't even a secretary. I was a gopher. I went and got lunches, and I cleaned the bathrooms, and I swept around the dealership. I just did odd jobs around. Then I became the secretary. And I wasn't happy with that. I loved working with people, and I loved sales. So I wanted to sell. I didn't necessarily want to sell the motorcycles. What I really felt passionate about was the financing products. I wanted to help people buy their dream. I wanted to help them attain the financing and the extended service policy so that they could not only buy the dream, but they could afford it for years to come because they didn't have to pay for any more services because it was all in the contract. And it all felt good to me, so I wanted to sell it. So I started selling financing. I had no training in selling, and at that time in the motorcycle industry, didn't matter whether I knew anything about it or not. It was brand new, and if I sold anything at all, it was something. So here I am in the sales department, or the finance sales, and I started reading books on sales. I read Joe Girard, oh my gosh, the greatest salesman in the world. Zig Ziglar, everything I could about sales, I read. I just became a bookworm. And soon, I became the #1 finance manager of Harley-Davidson across the country. And Harley-Davidson Corporate sent me to Hawaii to have a seminar, to run a seminar, and to teach all of the other Harley-Davidson dealerships owners how to sell financing. And I was 24 at the time, 24, maybe 25, and I had never spoke at that time. I had never spoken in front of a group of people before. I go out there to Hawaii, and I'm all prepared. I'm all ready. And I stood in front of the group. I had 3 seminars to give. There was a lot of dealer owners, and so I had 3 seminars throughout the weekend to give. And at that time, okay, I'm 46 now, and I was 25 then, so this was a little 21 years ago, okay? At that time, now my dad was an exception, there was a few exceptions, but most of the dealer owners were hardcore looking, scary dudes, okay? And I walked into a conference hall, and they're all looking at me like this. Their arms crossed, and they all have scowls on their faces, and they're thinking, what does this punk kid know that I don't know? I don't have to listen to this. Well, I guess I do have to because Harley-Davidson's making me, but I don't want to. And you could just feel it. Oh, my goodness. It was tough. And to make matters worse, when I was 25, I looked like I was 15. So it was really, really scary. So I gave my first seminar, and I held it all together, and I went through it just like I practiced it. And in the end, I went to the back room while everybody else left that way. I left this way, and I sat in a corner and cried. Oh my God. I got to tell you, I totally understand why the second biggest fear in the entire world is public speaking. Because I was scared to death, and I hated it. Worse than anything in the world, I hated it. And I had to do it 2 more times. So I pulled myself together. I wouldn't let anybody know what was going on in my head or physically. I was just falling apart. And I gave the seminar 2 more times throughout the weekend. Both times, I went to the back and cried. And it was so bad. And on the plane ride home, I told myself, I will never, ever put myself in that position again. I will never be so afraid of something that I just fall apart. So what I did, as soon as we landed, I get out the phone book and I look up Dale Carnegie. And the next day, I called Dale Carnegie and signed myself up for a school on public speaking. Went to the bookstore, bought every Dale Carnegie book, because at that time that's the only guy I really knew that knew how to public speak, and he was dead. But but anyway, it was a wonderful experience for me. I started coming out of my shell, and I started learning how to speak in front of people. And I did this just because I knew I had to. I knew I had to do something in order to learn how to speak in front of people and not fall apart, just like I just said. So I read about it, and I took classes, and I learned how to speak. So fast forward. Now I am wanting to be the general manager of the Harley-Davidson dealership. I have 2 brothers. So this is a motorcycle dealership that my dad had bought to pass down to his sons, because this is a manly thing to do. And so it was really, really hard for him when I came to him and said, I want to run your company. And he says, well, how about if you're Rick's secretary? Truly. He said, that's my dream. That's what I would like for you, is to be Rick's secretary. This was in my mind, and this is not what I'm thinking. I don't want you to run my dealership. I want him to run my dealership, and you to be secretary. I said, okay, tell you what. How about if I prove to you that I can run this dealership? And he goes, well, he was chauvinistic because that's his age, but he was also extremely fair, because he said, okay. He knew that if I could prove it, then he would say, okay, you go. He was wonderful. He was a wonderful, wonderful father, and to this day, he's fabulous. And he made me jump high. I mean, I had to jump over this hurdle in order to make it. But because he made me jump high, I am where I am today. So what I did was I read every book I possibly could on leadership. Everything I could find on leadership. And some books contradicted each other, but I took the bits and pieces that made sense to me because it is common sense. It's all common sense is what it is. And figured it out when I coupled my reading with meeting other people. I went to managers of other businesses, restaurant managers. I talked to a Walmart manager. I talked to other car dealership managers. Just ask them, what do you do? What's your greatest piece of information that you can throw my way? How can I want to run a business. So I figured it out, and I became a leader. I started leading the employees. At the time they were employees, now they're my team. But I just became their leader. And when Dad would say, hey, this is what I want done. I want X done in the business. Well, I would say, okay, and I would get everyone together and show them this goal. Follow me, and we would get X done. It just happened. And year after year, our profits went up and up and up, and it was just a wonderful time. Well, it wasn't long after that I decided I wanted to own the dealership. Not the dealership, but a dealership. So I found a location in Arizona, and I went to Dad one day and I said, hey, Dad, I want to go buy a dealership somewhere, a Harley-Davidson dealership somewhere, and I'd like some advice. And I don't want you to feel bad because I'm leaving you, but I am. I want to go somewhere else. Well, at that time, he bought 2 other dealerships by then. He had bought a dealership in North Kansas City and one in Blue Springs. And so he had Belton, which where I was, North Kansas City, which where Rick went to, and Blue Springs, where my other brother Dave went to. And he said, okay, I tell you what. I'm retiring anyway out of 2 of my dealerships. I only want to keep one. And Rick has come to me with this same idea. So how about if you and Rick become partners? And I'm going to keep Blue Springs for something to do. So I said, okay, sounds good to me. So went to Rick, and we worked our partnership out and became partners, bought the dealerships from my dad. Now, I have to tell you, often people think that Dad just gave us these dealerships. Well, remember I told you Dad expected us to jump this high. Well, he does not give anything, all right? He sold us the dealerships for market value. But what he did do was he financed them himself. So it was easier to do that. So, about 6 months went by. Me and Rick are 2 completely different people. Way different people. I'm in your face, hello, follow me, guys, and sharing everything. I mean, any of the customers or I'm not customers, but any of the team members want to know something, I tell them, this is where we're at, and this is where we need to be, and so there's the star, let's go. And I have a good time doing it. This is where every day is an excuse to have fun. I so believe that. I feel so deeply that as long as you're having a good time and you're showing your clients a good time and you're taking care of the team and taking care of the clients, then your bottom line is going to come. I so believe that, and I believed it then. And Rick has a different philosophy. Wonderful businessman, okay? He's great. He's extremely successful. But he looks at things differently. He's very, very matter of fact. This is business. Black and white, and this isn't fun. This is work, you know? And so we were way 2 different people, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. And so our partnership split, and that's when it became Gail's Harley-Davidson. There's different dealerships. There's Gail's Harley-Davidson, Worth Harley-Davidson, and then the other ones. So this was 10 years ago, okay? I had this dream, which is another thing that drove Rick insane, because I am a dreamer. and bless his little heart, he he really took a big leap of faith when he became partners with me to begin with, if you think about it, because we're so different. But anyway, I had this dream. I wanted a dealership that was a destination dealership, a place where anybody who's in the Harley-Davidson world in the country, when they mentioned Kansas City, I wanted whoever they were talking to say, yeah, you should go buy Gail's Harley-Davidson. That's what I wanted. I wanted a place that people would think about like that. So I found a spot, a location, so that I could move my dealership to, on the corner of 150 and 71 Highway in Grandview. And it's 10 acres of land. It's got this river going through it. It's really beautiful. And it's not really a river. It's this little creek bed that's usually dry. But it's still really beautiful. But when it rains, it's a river. But anyway, what I wanted to do is I wanted to turn this into a Disney World for motorcyclists. Well, everybody thought I was insane. Oh my goodness, I skipped one part. When my brother and I split up, oh my God, I had to pay my dad off. Everything that, he had loaned us the money himself. Well, I had to pay him off suddenly. Okay, so I could not find money anywhere. I had nothing. I didn't own my house. I didn't own anything. The land was being leased. I was renting it from my dad. And the only thing I owned to my name at all, other than my clothing, was the used motorcycles. And, I had, at that time, $300,000 max in used bikes. And I had to borrow millions of dollars. I went from bank to bank to bank. And at the time, I was 36 years old, and I looked like I was 25, okay? I wish it continued in that way, but it doesn't. Once you hit your 40s, you just go straight down. And now I do look 46, but regardless, I know I keep saying that, 10 years younger, but when I was 35, I really did look like I was 25. But so the bankers were looking at me like, you're nuts. I couldn't find money to save my life, and I had to pay my dad off. And so finally, I found a banker who took a risk on me. He believed my story, and he believed my heart. Well, you can't do this. You can't borrow like that today because of everything that we've gone through. But you could at that time, and I had everything in me just telling this guy, hey, man, I will die before I don't pay you off. And he believed in me, and he took a chance and loaned me the money, and that's where I am today. So fast forward then to, 2003, and so I had to go to the bank again and say, okay, I want to move my dealership to 150 and 71 Highway. And the bank, different bank, because the bank that I had borrowed from does not loan on real estate at all, so I couldn't go to them. So I had to go to different banks, and I was going again to different banks trying to get the money, and they were willing to loan me money, but they were all extremely skeptical of the whole thing. The only reason that they were willing to give me money is because my track record showed that I do pay my bills. But they didn't want to take a chance on this crazy idea. I was in this 10,000 square foot building, which is facility. It was two 5,000 square foot buildings side by side. And I wanted to build a 55,000 square foot Disney World, and with 8 acres of parking and a river running to it, which was really a dry creek bed, and they knew that. So I just believed in myself, and I just knew it. I just finally shared my vision and found people that believed in me enough to take a chance and say, yeah, you know what, this is great. Good idea. I want to take a chance on you. This is we built the dealership. We moved in October of 2007, and has been really, really fabulous up until 3 years ago, when MoDOT closed the intersection of 150 and 71 Highway for 22 months. And I'm telling you what, you guys seen the movie Cars, where they built the freeway around the city and the city died? Well, that happened to me. It was so hard. Those months were just horrible. They were just horrible. There's a lot of businesses that would not have survived what we survived. There is no doubt in my mind. We did it because we have an incredible team. And we just did our best to stay upbeat. And it was really difficult because everybody's paid on commission. Everybody on the retail floor is commission. The only people who are not commissioned are in the administration area. And so it's tough when you're paid on commission and no cars are coming in the parking lot. So what we did was we just major promotion, man. We keep people coming in, and every day meeting with the staff, going, "Oh my God, guys, this is going to be so much fun. Today's going to be great." And they're looking at me like, "Yeah, whatever." But this is the thing. You can think about it. I would go to a meeting somewhere. I would leave, go to the meeting, and on the way home or on the way back to the dealership, I would oftentimes decide, you know what? I'm not going back to work because I don't want to deal with having to go through a neighborhood to weave my way to the dealership. Now, if I felt that way, how do you think the customers felt? I am so thankful for the people that actually did come in. We came in and we did have people come in and we survived, but it was very difficult during that time. We had to keep each other up and stay happy. Once the interchange opened up, oh my gosh, employee morale went through the roof. The parking lot started filling up all the time, and whoo, we're rolling again. But it was extremely difficult during that time. And I'm telling you all of this stuff because I just want everyone to realize that life isn't always fabulous. Everybody has challenges. And sometimes it appears that they don't, when in fact, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So I want to share another story with you, okay? What I want to get out of the story I'm about to share with you is the fact that we have a choice, okay? Every mood that we're in is our decision. We can decide whether we want to be happy, whether we want to wake up in the morning and hit the ground running, or whether we want to go, this is a blah day. I'm just going to make it through the day, go to bed, and hopefully the sun will be out tomorrow. But we can't do it that way, truly, and be completely successful in our lives, both business and personally and spiritually. So I'm going to tell you about these 18 months in my life. And this happened just a few years ago, about 8 years ago. I had this dog. I got this dog I found him when he was a puppy, back in Belton. I found him, and 19 years later, my dog, my very best friend in the entire world, who has been with me through everything, died. He had kidney failure, and he passed away. 1 week later, my grandmother died. She was my confidant. I went and saw her all the time. I had loved her with all my heart. She was just absolutely the most fabulous woman. And she passed away. Probably 3 months later, my husband, who I'd been married to for 15 years, and who I thought that we had the most fabulous relationship on the planet, came to me and said, I'm having an affair. And she's pregnant. So like, oh, nice. All right, so so I moved out of our home that we had built, this beautiful home on 3 acres, and moved moved into an apartment in Overland Park. And then, not long after that, probably a week after I moved into my apartment, my other grandmother passed away. And as happens so often, within the month my grandmother passed away, my grandfather passed away. So all of these people are just falling out of my life. My grandparents, my dog, my husband, everyone's just falling out of my life. And then we had about 10 of our team members came to me. This was during the time when I was building the dealership. Came to me and quit. Not all at once, but within days of each other. They just kind of fell off. Because, I got to tell you, change is really hard for people. It is so hard for people to make a change. But, and so they quit. I can't say anything bad about them because it affects different people different ways, and so they went on their way. So I could have just fallen apart during those 18 months. That was really, really difficult. But also, during that 18 months, I competed in and won my age group in a triathlon in Kansas. It was really super cool for me. And I just pulled up my bootstraps and I just started running. That was my way of dealing with everything. I would run. And shortly after that, I competed in my very first ever adventure race in Florida, in the swamps of Florida. So it was a 24-hour race where they drop you off in the swamps. They give you a topographical map. You have a compass, and you have 24 hours to find your way back to civilization. So it was really difficult, but oh my God, extremely difficult. But I did it, and it was during this time of sorrow when all of this happened. I met my now fiance, met and fell in love with this guy, and I bought a house on my own in Leawood, which is, for me at that time, I had never bought a home on my own. I had bought my own home. It was really super cool. And I broke ground on my brand new 55,000 square foot facility, and then in October of that year, moved into it. So there's two different stories, vastly different, same time period. I could have made my choice on how I was to deal with anything, and all of this fabulous stuff very well couldn't have happened if I dealt with all of this negative stuff in the stereotypical go into depression way. Okay, you just have to pull your bootstraps up and go forward. And that's what I mean when you have a choice. It's all about the choices you make. It's just being positive. So, you guys are really incredible people. And what I would like for you to do is share a little bit of your energy with each other. Every Saturday, we have a pep rally at the dealership. That's when we share our energy with each other. Everybody takes part in it, okay? Everybody, call everyone down to the show floor, which is where we have the motorcycles at, and everybody comes forward, and they're from every department. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. The clothing department comes, and the parts department, and the administration, and the sales, and the service, the finance. Everybody takes part in this pep rally, okay? So they all come over. And I'll tell everyone, first of all, I'll say, good morning, and everyone says, good morning, Gail. It's so cool. And I'll say, how are you doing this morning? And what do you think they say? Yes! But they have so much oomph behind it. It's so awesome. And what's really super cool is they feel it. Because they know that, Dale Carnegie always said, if you act enthusiastic, you'll be enthusiastic. So even if you're not feeling enthusiastic, you can pretend it and be it. So everyone says they're outstanding. Then what we do is we give each other high fives. Then we talk about what what somebody has done to help somebody else out. Like Alan will say, man, I couldn't have sold this bike if Jerry hadn't have stayed late last night and helped me do it. You know, it's just things like that. And then we give everyone a high five. Go, Jerry. That's what teamwork's all about. It's really super cool. And then at the end, I'll tell everyone, if you see someone without a smile, then give them one of yours. Feel the power on 3 team. 1, 2, 3. And everybody yells, feel the power. Because they're not talking about the power of the motorcycle. They're talking about this power that's inside each one of us that drives us forward every day. That power that I've been talking about this entire time that is in each one of us, but we have to reach inside to find. So when you see our logo, I have to explain this shirt in a minute. But we have this, there it is, these eagle eyes, and it says feel the power between them. That's what we're talking about. We want to feel that. That's one of the great things that I wanted for this dealership that I built was I wanted people to feel that power when they walk in the doors. I wanted people to walk in and go, wow, this is really super cool. But more importantly, I wanted them to say, wow, now that was a great experience when they walked out the doors. And that first wow is easy. The first wow comes with money. Anybody can buy the first wow. But the second wow, now that comes from the team. They earn that every day, and they do because they feel that power inside them. And that's what people across the country, when you mention Gail's Harley-Davidson, they can feel it. That's what they talk about. They say, oh, yeah, I've been there. So it's that energy, and we need to do that. Everybody needs to do that within their own departments. You know, can you do that? Can you just feel it? I can just feel it, the energy in here getting better. Okay, so what I would like for you all to share some of the incredible stories that you have to say about each one of you, or about each other, okay? So I'm sure you have something in your head. And you don't even have to say something about somebody that's in here. You can say, you know, hey, Stephanie helped me finish my report last night, whatever, okay? So I want everyone to stand up, please. And this is the last time I'll make you stand up. Okay, so you. Oh, wait a minute. Back up. High fives, everybody. One more time. Okay, now, tell me.
Debbie Winter is sitting up in the controller's office pulling my bacon out of
Awesome. Woohoo! Go, Debbie Winters! That's awesome. How about you in the glasses?
Marty makes it possible for us to have people like you come and talk.
Oh, yay! Go, Marty. I love Marty. Okay, how about you in the green?
These ladies help us find
Awesome. Yay. Woohoo. Go, amazing ladies. How about you in the pink? You. Oh, yay! Go, Lisa! Isn't it funny how we're all so much aware of the tornadoes anymore? Okay, we have a guy in the audience. You. No, that's okay. How about you? You look like a doctor. A nurse. Hey, even better. Woohoo! Gotta love the nurses. Awesome. Woohoo! Go Janet and Sylvia. That's what this is all about. And that's what we need to share with each other every day. You know that gratitude, attitudes, I don't know what exactly that saying is. It just came to me. But it's so important. You know, tell people that you so appreciate what it is they've done for you. Not only makes that other person feel just fabulous, it makes you feel wonderful. It just helps your energy level of the day. All right, so let's give each other high fives one more time because we just talked about each other. So now how are you feeling? Yay, much better, much better. Okay, now, everybody, remember I said that our team says feel the power at the end of the day. or at the end of our meetings, okay? So now you're my team. And I am going to ask you, if you see someone without a smile, then you give them one of yours. All right, team? I'm going to say this, but what I want is for everybody who's out in that auditorium out there to go, what in the heck is going on in there? All right? So, when you say feel the power, I want you to feel the power that's inside, okay? Feel the power on 3. 1, 2, 3. Feel the power! Yay! Woohoo! Go team! Okay, you can sit down now. Now it is time that you can ask me whatever question you want. Yes?
What's your next target?
What's my next target? You know, my next target is to learn how to public speak much better than I do. You know, well, okay, I'm fabulous. But, you know, Dale Carnegie says if you act it, you'll be it. So, you know. But, no, seriously, that's what I want to do. I want to public speak across the country. I do a little bit of that right now, and I want to do a lot more of it.
What's your next dream for your Harley-Davidson location?
The next dream for my Harley-Davidson location is to become the #1 dealership in the country as far as the CSI goes, the Customer Satisfaction Index Survey. I will not become #1 in sales because there are so many dealerships in huge places in the country that they automatically sell more than me. We're #1 around here, but there's no way that we're going to be #1 against a lot of dealers. We are in the top 10%, though, of the country already. But I want to be #1 in the country for customer satisfaction, and we're getting there really fast. We're already #1 in the region.
Do you plan to buy more dealerships in other parts of the country?
My plan actually is to really focus on the speaking end of things. I've got such an incredible team. And I'd like to be present at the business. So I don't know. I may go somewhere else around here, but I won't go anywhere else in the country. Any more questions? You can ask me anything you like. I don't care. Yes.
How jealous is your brother?
Oh, you know, that's funny. My brother is really a fabulous businessman. So I really don't think he's jealous of me because he's really great. He really is. We just have 2 completely different business philosophies. And his is just, you know, it's very successful. His bottom line is just like mine. So I'd love to say, oh my God, he so wants to be me, but I don't think so. Yeah, he's great. Ah, that's a very good point.
Will you repeat it, Gail?
Yes. The question was, how do you decide when to take the lead as opposed to when to be a team player? Well, I believe that the answer is always be a team player. Always. And always step up to take the lead. Taking the lead doesn't always mean giving the orders. It just means I see what needs to be done. I'm going to do it. That, in my opinion, that's what taking the lead means. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
How involved is your dad in your dealership? I mean, since you've taken it from where it was, because I've seen, you know, the difference in where you're at is. I'm sure he's proud of you, but how much involvement did he have in your design, or did he?
He didn't. Yeah, no, he didn't. You know, the wonderful thing about Dad is he, what's absolutely fabulous is he set his expectations. he believes, and he's taught me to believe, that a person will rise to the level of your expectations. He knew I was going to succeed, and he knew I was going to build a wonderful dealership, and why does he need to step his foot in? I ask him questions, of course. I mean, I always ask him questions because there's nobody more knowledgeable about anything in this entire planet than my parents. But he doesn't he doesn't step in just because he expects that I'm going to do the right thing. If that makes any sense. Does that answer your question, kind of? No, he's not. His involvement is helping me out whenever I have business questions, and I have a lot of them, and that's what I believe helps make people successful, is to continue to ask questions and never feel like you're any less of a leader or less of a business person because you don't know the answer. Always ask, and there's I've said this, there's nobody, other than Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump may know more than Dad in some things. But, but my dad is the greatest businessman that ever walked. So, yeah. Yes, right here. Oh, there's one out there.
How many other females are involved in your business operations, and have you mentored other female business owners?
Well, a lot of people come to me, talk to me about, they ask me questions. I mentor them the same as my dad mentors me. They'll ask me questions, what would you do in this circumstance? And I answer them. I have an amazing network of girlfriends who are business owners and business managers. We get together a lot, and we'll talk about the trials of the world or whatever, and bounce each other's problems off of our shoulders, and we figure it out like that. And as far as women in the dealership, we've got a ton. I don't even know how many, but we've got a lot. we have women in every department because it's all about us girls. Oh my gosh! I'm so glad you said that. Okay. All right, I speak a lot at places, and when I get there, I don't ever, except don't ever say never because it comes back and it bites you, I don't ever look sloppy like this. But this morning, we're collecting all week for Joplin Relief. Okay, we're filling a truck up. I planned on this morning when I got ready to load the truck all day. Completely forgot about being here. Because I don't know, it spaced my mind as I was getting ready. I didn't think about it until I got to work and looked at my Outlook and said, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, I'm just going to explain why I look like this. I'm not always a slob. That's the story.
Does Harley-Davidson corporate ever give you mandates or suggestions as to what their goals are that you have to meet, and do they ever conflict with what your goals are in your market?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Harley-Davidson has a lot of mandates on us, but at the same time, they let us run our dealerships. We run them as we like, as long as they fit the contract and their expectations of us. It's hard to explain because, yeah, that sounds like they have a ton of control on us. And I guess that they would. I don't feel it as much as I think a lot of people would, because I so believe in doing the right thing. And if you do the right thing, then you're going to be able to go forward. And that's Harley-Davidson's belief also. You just do the right thing. And therefore, I don't feel the constraints that I would if I didn't want to do the right thing. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Okay. I saw a hand go up. Where did that go? Oh, over here. Oh, how would I take my lessons learned and translate them into successful parenting? Well, okay, first of all, I've never had a child. So I'm really, you can take what I say with a grain of salt. But I believe that running a team and raising a child are a lot alike in that what you want to do is you want to lead by example. And if you see this goal and you're going towards that goal and you do whatever it takes to get there, do whatever work needs to be done, then the team's going to follow. And I think your children will too. And the reason I say that is because that's what my parents did. My mom and dad were, like I said, their goals were up here and their expectations were up here, and all of us kids had to reach those expectations. Not that they told us, they never ever told us where their expectations were. We just knew where they were. If that makes any sense, we knew what our parents expected of us, and we did it. And I think that's the way my team is. Our team is just, I don't have to say, this is what I want you to do. I just expect that that's what they're going to do, and it happens. And I think that's the way parents are also. Yes? Thank you. Thanks. I love to give to charity. I love to help others out because I believe that each one of us are climbing this ladder to the top. Each one of us are trying to get there, and the only way we're going to get there is by climbing this ladder. And every once in a while, all of us kind of lose our grip and kind of stumble. I know I have a lot. And you need somebody there to catch you when you fall, to push you back up so that you don't fall too far. And I believe that as long as I am helping other people out along my way, and I'm pushing them back up, that they're going to be there for me when I need to be pushed back up. So that's my philosophy there. Anybody else? All right. Well, everybody, you are amazing. I knew you were. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you, Gail. Well, this concludes the whole series for the spring here. And when you fill out your evaluation forms, I really do take seriously the people or the topics that you put on those, because the last several years, that's where most of our speakers and topics have come from. So please suggest a way, because this won't happen again until January, and I have to plan the season this summer. Thank you.
We never got to, I forgot my name. Well, but that's okay. Yeah. But, you think I covered what you wanted to cover? There's a couple I felt myself because I am so sorry I spaced off things. I wake up. But I didn't, usually, when I wake up, I got myself in order. I'm thinking about, okay, this is what I'm going to say. And my thing got screwed up in my head. Very true.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming. It's so nice to meet
Thank you.
My name is Lisa. I work here at KU as a part of Children's Miracle Network. And so,
very cool.
Yeah, so when I heard your answers to the question I asked about your
Oh, that's okay.